The Passionate Leader, because leadership without passion is just a title.
Meeting. We got a collapse in the garage. Get the squad back equipment in here. We got an I-beam gone to a firefighter.
Get that out, urgent, transmit a second alarm.
This is where titles end and leadership begins. Ask yourself this. Are you leading your people or are you truly teaching them? Because there's a difference between giving orders and building an understanding. In the first half of our conversation with Training Captain Wayne Jones, we talked about his journey, his why, and the origins of the firefighter's chalkboard. In this second half, we dive into what drives him as a mentor, why being a training officer isn't just a position, it's a calling. Wayne opens up about how being a father of 3 daughters taught him humility and how he teaches people, and how that perspective shapes the way that he develops others. We're also going to touch on everything from burp draft training to his passion about pump operator operations, and the quiet reward that comes from watching somebody you've trained grow into their own. Without delay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to it. What so far have you found kind of to be your most rewarding thing so far?
Teaching. There is nothing more rewarding than when you're sitting there after the end of a 30-week recruit class and watching the kids you worked with every day get their badge pinned on them, by far.
I love it. I love it.
Um,
So do you feel training that's being offered is adapting to the changes in the fire service, or it's kind of the wash, rinse, repeat aspect?
That's a loaded question. I think all the people that do training that teach on the IFSAC level do a real good job of teaching the state minimums, which give a basic foundation of how to be a firefighter. And with that foundation, hopefully they create a mindset of continued learning. So the graduated fireman recruit, probie, whatever you want to call them, they go out and understand that they're going to build on that foundation for the rest of their career. Because just because you get a certificate doesn't mean you know it all. You know the absolute minimums. It's time to really go out in the street and learn how to learn your job.
Yeah, I love it. What is there anything in the fire service training aspect that you think we could certainly improve upon, or something that you wish we did better that might help kind of with recruitment and retention?
On the training aspect, no. There's everything we're doing is laying out the foundation. Like I was saying, we're doing the work to get them ready to go out. As far as like my department, it's hard to say you've got a problem with training or for recruiting or anything whenever we open arms to applicants for the testing process to come in. When you come in, we'll teach you if you're given a job offer. That's really something I can't really give that great of an answer for.
No, which is, I mean, so I'm French, and sometimes random questions just pop into my head, and I just sometimes let them out. So when you jumped into the training and all that, was there any time, any regret moments, or like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have done this? Or, I mean, aside from like the first, few day jitters, I'm sure it's like with any new job or anything like that, there's kind of like what the heck was I thinking? But have you had any kind of, like, man, I wish, or anything I guess let's rephrase that. What do you miss the most from being on the rig that you can't get being in the training division now?
I don't know. See, I still get to run calls and everything else.
Okay. All right.
We're still, we can still be call responsive. We still respond on if it hits a second alarm, we're still activated to respond on the second alarms. The only thing that I basically don't do is ride in the right seat of a rig, and I get to sleep in my bed every night.
So that's not that's a very big positive.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I absolutely I miss working in the firehouse sometimes, being in the house and being with the guys all the time and stuff. But I've got a great group of guys I work with every day, and we've got that same family atmosphere that we would have in the house in our training division, where we all work with each other because we understand the mission, and the mission's not going to get done with just one person. It takes everybody,
Mm,
and no different than working in the house. Just yeah, I miss riding the pumper sometimes. I'm not going to lie, and but I I definitely think I made the best decision to do what I did when I did.
that's now, have you had the opportunity to relay that back to the person that would talk you into it?
Oh, I speak to him once a week. We
That's
have lunch
awesome.
once a month. Yeah, I mean, he's my mentor. He was my first boss 25 years ago, and we still talk every week and have try to have lunch once a month. So
That's
we're
such a good
constantly.
idea. I love it. I I think sometimes people aren't they're not fortunate enough to be able to have that mentor at all in their fire service career, but to be able to have what you do, that's it's definitely admirable because you can go out, have dinner, and kind of you can be like, yeah, man, you were right. You definitely saw something that I didn't, and I mean, and I'm definitely glad that you took the leap when you did because it sounds like you're definitely happy where you're at. Um, for some of our younger listeners and that might be children. So obviously, one of the coolest things in the fire service is we can compare it a lot to being a parent and how
Mhm.
taking care of our men and women at the firehouse is just like taking care of our families. What are some of the lessons you learned as a dad that kind of helped you into the in the firehouse and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, I guess especially like where I'm working right now, my daughters are 25, 21, and 17. So I can
Okay.
close into that same range of, you
Mm,
know, what I'm dealing with on a daily basis a lot of times. And that's kind of how Uncle Wayne come about, because I was more like an uncle egging them on more than a get in your face drill sergeant. Because I learned, living with three daughters, screaming doesn't work, yelling doesn't work. You've got to be persuasive but stern at the same time.
mm,
Um, but it's patience. That's one of the biggest things is patience, understanding, and common ground. Giving your students respect from day one, because they signed up for the job. They're coming in the door. They don't have a chance to earn respect from me from day one, but I can give it to
yeah,
them. I can give them to them, and all they've got is, they got everything to lose and nothing to gain if
I
I give
love
them
it.
every bit of my respect from day one. And it's
Yeah,
vice versa, the same thing. And
I
it's
mean,
just that mutual understanding. You're here to learn. I'm here to teach. We're gonna get through it together.
no, it's reciprocal. I think. I mean, if you come off as as a jerk, they're gonna give you back what you get. It's 100%. So but that is a really of some of the people I've talked to and asked questions like that for. That's a really good answer as far as having girls taught you how to be patient. I think that's a really really good. I like that one a lot actually.
I mean, patience is because the biggest thing I've learned is nobody's going to learn the same way.
Mm,
Everybody's got a little different thing, and we have to learn to be patient and work on somebody else's pace. Yes, we have timelines we got to follow. We've got deadlines we have to meet, but just because one person knocks out a skill the second go around doesn't mean the other person might not need six times to get it right.
no, that's true.
And why would I not put forth the extra effort to make sure they're successful? Because
Mm,
in order for me to be successful, they have to be successful. Now, with that being said, all of us understand that this job is not for everyone.
mm,
But if it comes to that point, or that decision being made that, the program is not for them, it will be to where it's not because of the lack of effort from the training staff to help them be successful.
mm. Is now if those situations arise, is that something that um you kinda sit down and have that hard conversation, or have you found that most candidates and students sorta sort of can see it and accept it.
To be honest with you, I haven't had to have that conversation yet 3 years.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, knock on wood.
It it's just being real
Yeah.
and being honest, and, you can treat somebody with respect, treat them like a person, but let them know what the expectations are up front, and there's no guesswork in it.
Mm,
Yeah. Either they're gonna go hard and go at it, or they're not. But I've never had to have that hard conversation,
that's
and I mean,
awesome.
I'm lucky for that.
Yeah. What what are your most favorite and your least favorite subjects to have to teach?
Most favorite is pumps by far. Um, yes, I am a pump nerd. Um, and my least favorite is hazmat, plain and simple.
That's fantastic. You know,
I'll
but
teach I'll teach pump theory all day long. I can nerd out in a pump just as deep as anybody wants to. But yeah, me and hazmat do not get along.
I think it's because it can be such a dry subject. Like we all know that but how can you teach how dangerous it is and make it such a long drawn? I agree with you 100%. We had an individual who was like the hazmat guru for up here, and there's certain minimum minute requirements for what they have to do, and it was probably, I think it was like 24 hours part of our fire one. It was the longest 24-hour block of my entire life worth of classes because it took so long for for it to get through, because it's like, here's a hazardous material, look at the book, okay, now you wait, and that's it. Okay, look up another one. I was like, oh my word, this. But pumping, I do have to tell you, even up here, there's nothing that gets the adrenaline rushing on a in an artificial sense than for drafting water out of a stagnant source, listening to the engine rev as you pull and prime, and the fan kicks on, and it's loud and it's noisy. Um, what's your favorite place to mount the pump, top or midship mount?
Midship.
Yeah, we were pretty hot to trot for a while in our agency with the top mount pumps. And finally we're able to kind of, you know, the theory was you're up top, you can see the scene really good as the operator and stuff like that. But the way that we pull up to fire scenes, we're usually nose into the driveway. So what good am I going to do staring at the back of the cab of the truck? I can't see anything. So finally we did away, and our newest truck that we have coming in is going to be midship. The argument for the long while too was, it was because it's our rescue pumper. The argument that was made by previous administration was, well, it'll keep you up off the road so you're safer.
Yeah, so when you
That's
blow your knees out, it works better.
that that and so what if you're on the pump panel and you have a tractor trailer truck bearing down on you, what do you do? And so he's like, well, jump off. And I'm like, but in what direction? In the direction it's coming and going to hit the truck, or the direction it's going to launch the truck? I don't know what is the best way to go. In theory, I get the concept of you're up higher at a structure fire, but that's only if you're at the street with the house to the side of the truck, not nosed in like we do all the time. But um oh, I love it. What gosh, we could go down a path here. Um Burp drafting. Do you like burp drafting or not? I know a lot of guys are.
That's my jam. We don't use primers. I do not teach a primer.
Oh, all right. So
I mean, burp drafting is the thing because the reason why me and Andy are like this, me and my boy Andy, uh, and the reason why is a primer's mechanical. It can fail at
mm,
any point in time. And if people are conditioned to always using a primer every time they go to pull a draft, what do you do the time it doesn't work, but you still need to get water for the guys inside? If you learn
yeah.
how to pull a draft, learn how to pull a draft without burping it, or not without burping it, but priming it, having to pull on that primer and wait on either the air primer or if it's an oil driven, gear pump or whatever works to make it happen, it works good. I mean, look here, tank fill, tank the pump, rev it up to 1200 RPMs and start cracking that intake. It'll pull water.
Mm. I never learned how to. So I've been in for about 20-ish, 24 years in the fire service. It wasn't until, oddly enough, somebody else who joined our department who shares the same name as me, never thought I would see two people with the same name on my department ever. He's like, hey, let's go burp draft. So me, I'm like, what the hell is burp drafting? And so he came from Florida. And the same thing, he's like, we do not use our primers in Florida because if it can go bad, why train on something, that could, set you up for failure. For the listeners that might not understand what that is, do you want to kind of walk them through how they would set up for we are opening up a box, I understand, and I'm asking you to sort of paint the best Picasso that you can, but I know a lot of listeners they might be listening and they have no idea what burp drafting is. So once you give them what you got.
I'll do one better than that. If you get on YouTube and you pull up The Water Thieves burp drafting, that is Andy Sacadato. He is the best there is at it, and he shows it step by step how to go through the process. That's the easiest way because Andy's already got videos of how he does every bit of it.
I will. What I'll do is I'll make sure when I edit this and put it up on the website in a few weeks, I'll make sure that I put that link on there. What I'll do too is, part of being on the show is we'll get you in the cadre, and on your section on the Passionate Leader cadre on our website, I'll put that link in the your bio section too. That way people can kind of, hit that, because it is not caveman easy, I don't think, but it's definitely doable once you get comfortable with what you're doing.
I do it out of a trash can. I teach my people how to pull it out of a 30-gallon trash can.
Really? Okay. All right.
And a lot of people don't understand the whole theory of a trash can drill. We pull that draft out of a 30-gallon trash can without pulling the primer. And the reason I use the trash can is, one, it's really easy to set up. It's got nothing to do with us not having the equipment we need. We have all the equipment in the world we need to do training with. It's a confidence thing. So if I'm taking somebody, I'm teaching how to run a pump and they're getting new with it, and drafting is one of the most things that get people really skittish on a pump panel, because they're worried about, am I evacuating enough air? Am I putting too much air in the pump? Am I going to cavitate it? But if I can teach you how to successfully pull a draft out of a 30-gallon trash can, and you can do it numerous times, there's no reason in the world you can't pull a draft out of a 4,000-gallon drop tank or of a 15-acre pond.
Yeah, I like it.
You should walk up to it every time you hit a different water source that you're going to hit a static water supply from and say, this ain't nothing. Because they learn, and it's the same process. It just, that small container, when them being able to complete it, gives them the confidence to know they can always do it on something bigger, so that they don't question their abilities, is what it's for.
I love that. That's a damn good. Is there a video for that by any chance? There could be, honestly. Maybe you're right. No, I think that's a great idea. When it comes to training on pumps, what have you found that sort of brand new person gets on? What is the thing that hangs them up the most?
Just honestly and truthfully, a lot of them are, in my opinion, the difference in between analog and digital gauges, because just some trucks have got digital gauges on the controls, some of them are analog. And then if you look down, the ones that have digital have analog gauges on the discharges down low. And it's kind of one or another. I think they do a little better, in my experience, they do a little better with the analog gauges because they're bigger, they're easier to see, they can kind of understand what they're doing. And it's just, I guess, overwhelming a lot of times. I mean, we've cut pieces of cardboard before, and we can put it in front of the pump panel, take like a big cardboard box. Okay, this is the only 3 levers you got to start off with, and then teach them that basic, so the rest of all the conglomeration that's around that pump panel doesn't intimidate them. And then we just, once they got the basic part to have, tank to pump, tank fill, throttle up, pull one, discharge. Once they got that part down, then we take it away. Now, all the rest of this is just different ways for you to send the water.
Yeah. I think it's definitely an intimidating thing. It's seeing a ton of gauges, levers, relief valves, discharges, and intakes. But man, once you really simplify, you just got to get water from A to B. And
Yeah.
sometimes A could be on board, and sometimes B could be a tank by your hip, or again that 15-acre pond.
Now, one thing we do, we've got an old pump that's on a stand outside in the open. So when I go and do teach pump theory and what does what on the pump, I take them outside and I tell them with a pump. And then that way they're actually looking at a pump. They're not looking at a pump panel. And then we go and step it up one more notch, and then we go to the rig and open up the side panel on it so they can actually see all the linkage and the workings of the pump, where they can understand really what it is. And then if you boil it down to where you can make pumps really, really complicated or really simple. And if you start with simple, it works. So if it's your belly button or below, it's an intake. If it's above your belly button, it's a discharge. The easiest way in the world to look at it.
Yeah. What did I just learn the other day? That and it's so funny. It's trivial. I should have known it before, but the discharges also have the 45-degree angle downward, whereas the intakes don't. I never picked up, again, there's it's little things that I either nobody picked up on that, or it's just
Well, that depends on how the elbows are, because we've still
That's
got
true.
rigs that the discharges come out straight.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I think they do that to keep it from having kink, to keep it from kinking as easy.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff. Yeah. We could definitely go down the, what, let's geek out a little bit. What's your favorite brand of pump that's out there? And let's start with a disclaimer. This is neither our shit talking or our endorsement for specific pumps. This is just two guys talking shop. So if Hale Waterous or Darley want to endorse us, that's perfectly fine. We are always taking sponsorships here.
I'll go with what I know, a Hale QMax 1500.
Yep.
I mean, I started off with the first pumps I ever worked was a Hale QMax 1000. I started with a 1987 GMC 5-speed. And after that, everybody was, we all had 1250 pumps, and now most of our pumpers are running 1500 GPM pumps. And we've gotten, I think, 2 in our fleet that are waterless, and that's just because they were line rigs whenever we purchased them. But mainly everything that we have had that has been spec trucks have all come with Hale.
We're the same. We're a Hale department. We have one waterous on our 84 real truck that is actually due for decommission in the next month or so, which is kind of unfortunate because I don't know if it's because it is a waterous pump or because it's just an older pump that doesn't have a lot of computer stuff with it. But you basically just have to drive the truck to the water hole, just ask it, hey girl, we need to get water, and it'll almost do it for you. You just got to put the lines in place, and it just does it all by itself pretty much. It's without fail. So, and it's the new one we're getting has, because we have not mastered the art of the burp draft, but we've gone with like the Air Prime and stuff like that, which from the mechanical side, you can hear when you get your prime and you can see it on your gauge. But these air primers, if you're not listening, you won't see or know anything if you're not paying attention to your gauge, because you cannot hear when you get a prime with and there is a difference, but you really have to be. I mean, when the truck's trying to rev or you got fire and people ripping behind you, man, you're not going to hear that dang thing trying to prime. But that's good stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna miss our engine. And when engine 4 goes out, she's got, and it's the unfortunate part, it's not a very strong, it's a I think it's only a 750 gallon a minute pump because that was a big pump for back in the early 80s when we got the truck. So it wasn't really much thought of, and it's unfortunate, but I mean it's with the old and with the new, I suppose. So, but no, no, that's
Yeah.
that's good stuff. What before we wrap it up, what's next on the horizon for anything and everything, Uncle Wayne, from training officer to the firefighter's chalkboard to everything.
Uh, well, we are just steady hammering away, trying to get as many guests as we can, trying to do at least one show a week, and keeping the Facebook page running pretty hard. Actually, starting a new semester in school this week, so it'll get a little busier. Um,
Nice.
uh, but yeah, just hammering on towards getting that master's degree and going across, to get that done. And I don't know. I'm waiting on to put in for a couple of classes to see if I can present. So we'll see how that goes. I think I've got 4 of them I put in for next year, and we'll see how
Nice.
those go. Because kind of kind of hesitant throughout the month of February. Waiting.
Yeah.
I don't want to be
No.
somewhere where I don't need to be, and I got to get on an airplane. Um, but
Oh, that's good stuff.
but that's the biggest thing. Just doing my normal daily routine, trying to do as much as I can, and waiting to hold that grandbaby is really.
Yeah, no, what what are you going for your master's degree for? Or in, I should say.
Um, I'm actually going to do so I got my associates in fire science. I'm actually finishing my last semester right now. So in 8 weeks, I'll be done with my bachelor's in emergency management. And then
Nice.
I'm going to turn around and do my master's in education.
Oh, man, I love it. That
Yeah.
it's a clear, an obvious and clear path. I like yourself. When I was in high school, I did not know that there was a such thing as fire science. I had no idea. I wanted to be Stan the weatherman and love the weather. I was going to be the next Jim Cantori on the Weather Channel, but I didn't realize how much mathematics is really in meteorology. There's a lot, and I am awful at math. There's a reason mom and dad gave me a two-letter name. It's just I'm just destined to not be great at mathematics. So I ended up giving up on that endeavor, but it wasn't until, oh geez, a couple of years ago, my wife actually enrolled in CSU to do her bachelor's in fire administration. I was like, okay, like that's, and so I was like, that's good for you. Like that's neat. Really didn't have much. She was like, I don't need to get a piece of paper to tell me I know what I'm doing. Blah blah. The ego is in the way. And she's sitting at the house. We're doing watching TV, and she's doing her homework. And I'm like, is that your homework you're doing? And she's like, yeah. So I kind of I lean over and look at the laptop, and I'm like, oh crap, I could probably do that. And I sort of like did like the creepy side eye for like a couple of weeks, and I'm like, let's just see if I'll get into it. So I mean, lo and behold, I put in for my bachelor. I have one more semester to go with my bachelor's. And was it a couple of semesters ago? They're like, oh, we might have messed up a little on your because they took some of my career knowledge, like my fire one and stuff, and they sort of rolled it into it. And they're like, you actually are eligible to petition for your associates. And I'm like, okay. So I paid the $100. They checked my my transcript, and they're like, oh hey, you have your associates now. I'm like, oh, okay. Very like melodramatic. No, like congratulations. So of course it came in the mail of the day. I'm like, oh, I guess I can get a degree in school. But it's never too late, and I think like you, I'm just gonna power through and get the master's, because even if I don't use it in my career where I'm at now, or even career period, it's good to keep your knowledge base going and stuff like that. I haven't decided what the master's will be. It'll be fire service executive leadership, but there's a few different what do they call it, concentrations, and I'm like, I don't, there's so many that are, I mean, they're all really good, so I'm kind of like, well, I wonder if I could just take certificate classes to do them all, but that's good stuff. I love it. I mean, if anybody can learn something from tonight, it's that take a gamble when it's offered, and because it's going to pay off, and it's never too late to start something new or to get a degree. One last question before we wrap up. It's a customary question that I ask everybody before we do. Is there what, if anything, from the show is the one takeaway that you hope people could get? If they can only take home one thing, what from our conversation today is what you want them to take home?
Always remember to have mutual respect against each other. We were talking about that earlier, and I can't stress the importance of having common ground and mutual respect. That's how mentor-student relationships are built. That's how learning is built. That's how you can have common ground with people so you can have understanding to learn. Respect's huge. It's something we need to bring back, something we need to embrace more, because it gives us common understanding to be people and treat people as people.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have time for today. Wayne, I thank you for your time. I know that we have I did the old post and ghost thing a long while back, and because I've just been busy with everything. I love what you're doing. Wayne's pulling off some really big guests on his episode, because Wayne, to share a conversation him and I had before, when I asked him how he lands them, his exact words were to the effect of, "I ask and they say yes." There's no method to his madness. He just does it. So staying true to the concept of you yeah. And I have not grown to be brave enough yet, but I will. And it's a I love it. When I'm like, man, he's nailing some of these some big bucks, and I'm like, good for him. Like, this is, and when I asked, and you're like, that I ask, and they either say yes or they say no. It's that simple.
Mhm.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So guys, if anything, learn from Wayne. He is remaining a student of the game. He loves to teach people. He's very passionate about the fire service, and he is proof that if you jump out of your comfort zone, in that parachute of trust will stop your hard land in the fall. I appreciate everybody for spending time with us today on the Passionate Leader podcast. If something today hit home, don't just sit with it and share it. Be the kind of leader someone else is praying for. And no matter what comes your way, remember this: lead with passion, serve with humility, and leave no room for bottom feeders. Until we meet again, guys, stay safe.